Hi guys, so the bill for welfare in the budget has increased. Now I'll get to the reason for that in a moment, but first we're going to hear from a guy called Kevin who's claiming that his sister is taking in a huge amount of money through benefits or entitlements, as I prefer to call them, and this is rubbing people the wrong way. Now I don't believe that this is true, but unfortunately we're going to hear a lot of these types of calls over the next number of weeks and months. Have a listen.
Molten hot, it's already boiling, but what would you like to say?
Well, quick example, I've just finished work. I do work for a living, and you know this. I'm just making a comparison to my sister, but I don't get on with them. Anyone who's listened to this...
Okay, before we continue, remember this line he said here, I don't get on with them, which begs the question how he has access to so much information that he's going to present.
Their blood's going to boil as well. This is what she gets.
This is your sister, your sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but we don't get on because of things like this.
Because of this, go on then.
Yeah, 126 quid child benefit a month. She's got 5 kids. 5 different dads. Yeah.
Well, that's going to go up. That's going to go up. Because she's only getting, at the moment, she's getting benefits for 2 kids. She will now get benefits for 5. So that's going to go up. That's going to go up by more than twice. That's going to go up to 260, 270 quid. So carry on.
Yep. £908 a month universal credit. She gets PIP for herself and her 17-year-old. He's the oldest. That's £2,300 a month.
God.
DIA for her youngest, £93 a week. She gets housing benefit, £420. Reduced gas, reduced electric, reduced water.
Hang on, so what are we talking about? How much altogether is she getting? This sounds like what, 40 grand a year or something?
She's got far more disposable income than me. She's got a PIP car, Audi A1.
Of course.
This
is outrageous.
Kids go to free school meals, of course, because she don't bloody feed them. Her money goes on tailor-made fags.
So is she a single mum, Kev?
Yeah, she kills them all off. I don't mean it like that, but you know what?
Hang on a second. How many kids has she got again?
5.
5. She's got 5 kids, single mum. From what you're... And what have you... She's just gaming the system, right?
She literally is, yeah. She's the youngest. She actually literally even said, the others are getting too old. I need another kid. I hate her. She's worse than anything I've ever seen on benefits. I'm not joking, Kev. This might sound a bit...
She is on benefits, so she's a benefit...
She's worse than anything I've seen.
Let's go through that again. She gets 126 quid child benefit. What else does she get?
She gets £908 a month in universal credit.
Yeah.
She gets PIP for herself and her youngest. The eldest. That's 2,300.
2,300 a month?
Yeah. So you've got DIA for herself, and that's... I don't actually really know much about DIA, but that's 93 quid a week for a youngest. Housing benefit, 420 quid.
And did you say she's got a car as well?
Yeah, she's got an Audi A1 PIP. No.
Now, does anyone actually believe this? See, I don't know the details that he's presenting. I don't know if some of them are valid. I don't know if some of them are invalid. But I'm extremely cynical when it comes to people like this, because he started off by saying that he doesn't get on with his sister. So how is it he has a bad relationship with his sister, but his sister is willing to give him details of exactly how much she's receiving? Like, down to the number. Not, I'm getting about this or I'm getting about that. No, actual figures here. We can see the figures. How did he have access to this information? Does she actually have access to well, she might have access to this information, but would she be writing it down and giving it to her brother that she doesn't get on with? This call doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm not saying that it's not true, but you have to engage in a lot of mental gymnastics to believe it. I think so. Now, let's get back to the budget itself and the bill for welfare. So it is going up, but why is that actually happening? Well, because of a number of factors. For example, the population is getting older, and there are rising pension costs. Now, remember, the right-wing media outlets will never talk about pensions. They'll never group pensioners and people on quote-unquote benefits. They'll just focus on the younger people and say, well, these people should be working. So as people get older, they put more pressure on the welfare state. They put more pressure on the state in general as a result of health conditions. And as people get older, they need more support. As we've seen over the last number of years as well, more and more people need support as a result of health and disabilities. This is the reality of the situation. So the government need to provide these people with support. When it comes to PIP, we know that it's not a work-related benefit, in the sense that some people claiming PIP are working and others are not. So what you're going to instead hear from the right-wing commentators is, we need to get rid of PIP because it's a drain on the state and people are just using it to buy cars. When we know the reality of the situation when it comes to PIP, PIP is allowing people to access vehicles that help them with their mobility, either if they're working or not, but it's taken out of their actual benefit. So it's not that people are given cars for free. Unfortunately, this narrative continues. Now, another reason why the welfare bill is much bigger is because of inflation and cost of living adjustments. Some benefits are linked to inflation. So if inflation rises, and inflation, of course, is rising, then the cost of living is going up. So their benefits are increasing as a result of that. So the budget has to take that into account. There are also, of course, issues regarding the economy. If the economy is not doing very well, more and more people need support from the state. Growth has flatlined. So businesses are not hiring like before. Businesses are not expanding like before. So they're not paying into the tax system like before. And more people who are struggling to get by are relying on more and more support from the state. So if the economy was doing a lot better, potentially the welfare budget wouldn't be as big, because more people would be able to work. And it's not just about working. I think it's important that people remember that 40% of people on universal credit are working. The problem is not that people are not working. The problem is the wages, the cost of living. So if the wages are stagnating, people need more support from the state to cover their costs of living. But you're not going to hear that from people on Talk TV. No, it's all about demonizing people who are relying on support from the state. Once again, I'm not fully on board with the idea that this story is true. I'm not saying that it's not true, but there are too many holes in it to convince me that Kevin, the caller here, is telling the truth about his sister. But unfortunately, we're going to hear more and more of this going forward. I keep saying the likes of Talk TV and GB News are there to convince poor people that their enemy is either immigrants or people on so-called benefits, in order to convince them to vote for parties like the Conservatives and now Reform UK, who will do what? Who will reduce the size of the state, who will create a situation which benefits the richest in society, people who don't want to pay more tax. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.